My brother thought my inheritance meant a free wedding. So I revealed a secret he thought was buried. Okay, so here's the thing. My brother Noah can literally do no wrong in my parents' eyes. He could knock over a lemonade stand and they'd be like, well, those kids shouldn't have been set up on the corner. Me? I'm the quiet one. The moody one. The one they forget to loop into the family group chat. Noah's getting married to Lindsay, who pretends she's super chill, but would 100% have a meltdown if her bridal shower photos didn't match her Pinterest board. I don't hate her or anything, I just don't trust her. She's got that fake nice energy, like she's smiling with her teeth clenched. Always saying stuff like, I just get along better with guys than girls. Giant red flag, right? Anyway, our grandma passed away last year. She was my person. The one who actually noticed me in a family full of spotlight addicts and people who pretend for a living. When she died, she left me $50,000. Just me. Not Noah, not both of us. Me. Her note said, for your future, for your freedom, because I know no one else is looking out for you. I've kept it folded in my journal ever since, like a little piece of armor. I wasn't even thinking about spending it yet. I've been saving for this design program in London I've wanted to do forever. It finally felt possible. Then Noah calls a family meeting. At my parents' house, obviously. He and Lindsay show up, looking all smug and glowing like a couple on a wedding reality show. Mom's passing out pie like we're in some vintage postcard. And then Noah says, so we're hoping the family can chip in for the wedding, and since Grandma left you that money and you're not using it. I just blinked at him. I seriously thought it was a joke, like, good one, but nope, completely serious. Then Lindsay pipes up. It's just sitting there, right? And a wedding is such a big deal, we'd make it beautiful for everyone. Like my inheritance was some kind of group fund. Mom nodded like this was totally reasonable. Dad didn't say anything, which in our house means he agrees. Then Lindsay looks at me and goes, and you're not even in a relationship, so like it's not like you need it right now. You ever been so angry you feel your fingers go cold? That was me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just said, wow, you all really think I'm that disposable, huh? And left. No one followed me. I didn't cry in the car. I didn't scream or punch the steering wheel or call my best friend to vent. I just sat there, hands on the wheel, headlights cutting into the dark, and thought they really would have let him take it. $50,000 from my dead grandmother meant for my life. And they treated it like it was a bonus gift card I didn't know what to do with. And the way they said it too, like it was logical, like it was fair, like love should be transactional if it's going to look good in wedding photos. I went home, made tea I didn't drink, stared at my bookshelf until my eyes landed on the journal. The one I used to keep under my bed before Grandma got sick, the one she gave me. Inside it, tucked between two pages filled with old doodles and scraps of poetry I'm embarrassed to reread, was her letter. The one she wrote just for me. Her handwriting was shaky in places, but still so her. Slanted, sharp. I read it again, not just the part about the money, but the last paragraph. The part I never told anyone. I know there are things in this family you were never meant to carry. Secrets no one should have dropped in your lap. I'm sorry I never said more. But if the day ever comes that they try to silence you or shrink you down, remember what I told you about that night. That night, God, I hadn't thought about it in a while. I tried not to. I was 14. My parents thought I was asleep upstairs. Noah had just gotten his driver's license. There was shouting in the kitchen, not the usual arguing about grades or curfews. This was something else. I crept halfway down the stairs, heard voices, heard Mom crying. If anyone finds out, it could ruin everything. His scholarships, his future. We'll never speak of this again. It never happened. You understand me, Noah? And my dad, both of them acting like whatever it was didn't matter if it meant protecting the golden boy. I don't know the exact details, but I do know this. Something went down. Something big. And Grandma knew. She never told me everything, but she gave me pieces, hints, enough to connect dots if I wanted to, but I never used it, never needed to until now. They came for what was mine, so now they can choke on the truth they tried to bury. I texted the family group chat. I've thought about the wedding money. Let's talk tomorrow night, 7 p.m. I'll bring dessert. I knew they'd show. If there's one thing my parents can't resist, It's the illusion that they're still the perfect family. That if we just sit around the dining table long enough, our dysfunction will turn into a Hallmark moment. Nah, this wasn't dinner. This was court. I got there a few minutes early, set down a store-bought pie I had zero plans to eat, and kept my bag close. My hands were actually shaking, not from fear, but from the weight of it all. I wasn't here to beg. I was here to bury the fantasy. Noah and Lindsay showed up dressed like they were going to brunch with Meghan Markle. All smiles, fake hugs, Lindsay clutching a Pinterest board on her iPad like a Bible. Mom kissed my cheek like she hadn't just tried to emotionally rob me 48 hours earlier. Dad grunted his approval and poured himself wine, and I just sat there waiting. "So, honey," Mom said after some fake small talk, "have you thought more about helping out with the wedding?" I smiled slowly like a fuse being lit. "I have, and I think it's wild that you all feel entitled to money that wasn't left to any of you." "That's not fair," Noah cut in. "It's not like you're doing anything with it right now." I held up a hand. "Nah, let me finish, because if we're going to be real, let's be real." Lindsay blinked. The iPad lowered slightly. "What are you talking about?" Dad asked, frowning. I pulled out my journal, the one with Grandma's letter, set it on the table. Then quietly, "Do you remember what happened when Noah was 17? Everyone froze. Even Lindsay, who had that smug highlighter contoured look wiped clean off her face. "What are you talking about?" Noah said, voice tight. "The night I wasn't supposed to hear, the one where Mom was crying and Dad said, if anyone finds out, it could ruin everything." Ring a bell? Mom went pale, like bone white. Dad gripped his glass like it was the only thing keeping him tethered to the planet. "That was years ago," he started. "Yeah," I said. "And I kept that secret for years. I didn't ask for the truth. But Grandma, she gave me pieces, said I'd know when I needed them. Guess what? Now I do." I looked them all in the eye. "You don't get to blackmail me with guilt and expect silence in return. You want my money? You better be ready for what I'll say when people ask why I didn't keep it." Dead silence. Even the clock on the wall had the decency to stop ticking. The silence in that dining room was thick, like you could slice it with the same knife Mom uses to cut her perfect Sunday roast. I didn't flinch, didn't look away. I just let the weight of what I'd said hang in the air like smoke no one wanted to breathe in. Dad was the first to speak. "You misunderstood what you heard. Classic that you were just a kid defense, but I wasn't buying it. I remember it clear as day. You were yelling. Mom was crying, and you kept saying, 'We can't let this come out.'" I turned to Noah. "You want to talk about fairness? Try growing up knowing your big brother did something bad enough to make Mom collapse in the kitchen and being told to pretend like nothing happened." His jaw clenched. He didn't deny it. That's what got me. He didn't deny it. Lindsay looked at Noah like she was trying to do the math. "What is she talking about?" Noah didn't answer. So I answered for him. "How about we ask him what really happened with Mr. Dunn's daughter that summer?" Boom. Mom gasped. Dad slammed his hand on the table. "That's enough." "Is it?" I shot back. "Because I've kept this secret for years. Even Grandma knew. That's why she left the money to me. Not because she loved me more, but because she trusted me more." I looked at Lindsay again. "Your golden boy fiancé. He almost got expelled. The only reason it didn't go on his record is because Dad made a deal, paid off the school, and Mom begged the girl's parents not to press charges." She looked like someone had sucker punched her. The iPad in her lap slid to the floor. "Noah, is that true?" His voice was barely a whisper. "It was complicated. I was a kid. You assaulted someone?" I shouted, and just like that, Mom snapped. "He was young. He made a mistake. He didn't deserve to have his whole life ruined over one." "One what?" I said. "One girl, one lie, one cover-up." Noah stood up fast, knocking over his chair. "You always hated me. You've been waiting for a moment like this your whole life." "No," I said. "I've been waiting for a moment where I wasn't expected to stay silent while you got everything handed to you, even your forgiveness." He stormed out. Lindsay didn't follow. She just sat there, arms crossed, lips pressed together like she was trying not to vomit. Mom was crying. Dad was silent. And I felt light, like I just dropped a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. The door slammed behind Noah so hard that a picture frame rattled off the wall. It was a photo from his graduation. Of course, perfect cap, perfect smile. My parents beaming like he just cured cancer. I didn't move to pick it up. Mom sat at the head of the table, hands in her lap, shaking. For a minute, no one said anything. Dad just stared at the now empty wine glass in front of him like it might fill itself. Then Mom whispered, "You didn't have to do that." I raised an eyebrow, "Didn't I?" "You were ready to throw away everything Grandma left me, so your son could have monogrammed napkins and a harpist at his wedding." "He's your brother," she said, her voice cracking. "Family doesn't do that to each other." I laughed. I actually laughed. Family doesn't blackmail each other either, but here we are. She flinched like I slapped her. And I know, I should have felt bad, but I didn't, because for once, I wasn't the one being made to feel small. Later that night, I was back in my apartment, curled up in a hoodie that still smelled like Grandma's old lavender detergent. Yeah, I kept one when my phone buzzed. "Lindsay?" I stared at it for a second, then picked up. "Hey." She was quiet for a beat, then said, "I left him. Not we're figuring it out. Not we're taking space." She left him just like that. "You were right. I didn't know. I think I didn't want to know. But I'm not marrying someone whose parents paid to keep their past hidden like a dirty secret. Especially not from me." I didn't say anything, I just let her talk. "I'm sorry they came for your money. That wasn't fair. I knew it wasn't fair. But I wanted the wedding. I didn't even care how it was paid for." She sniffled. "I guess we all wanted something." She hung up soon after. I sat in the quiet, staring out the window. The street light flickered. The wind moved through the trees. And for the first time in years, my silence didn't feel like a cage. It felt like choice. Mom texted the next morning, said she wanted to talk, said she didn't mean for things to go this far. I didn't respond. She tried again and again. Ben sent a voice note I didn't open. Dad never reached out, not once. And honestly, that was fine because the truth was out now. They had to live in it. And me, I had money in the bank, a packed bag, and a flight to London bookmarked on my laptop. Grandma gave me a gift. They tried to take it. Instead, I used it to finally give myself something better. A way out. I didn't sleep much that week. Not because I was anxious. Honestly, I felt calmer than I had in months. But because my brain finally had room to breathe, to imagine, to plan, I started researching the design program in London, made a spreadsheet, started the visa application. I even ordered a freaking outlet converter like it was a badge of honor. I wasn't running away anymore. I was choosing something better. Mom kept texting. A weird mix of guilt and gaslighting. "I don't know where we went wrong. You shouldn't have said those things in front of Lindsay. It's not too late to fix this. You know Noah still loves you, right? She never once said, 'I'm sorry. You were right. We hurt you.'" Classic. One text actually read, "I know you're not perfect either. We've all made mistakes." I didn't respond. Not out of spite, just because I finally understood that some people only apologize if you bleed for it first. And I wasn't bleeding for them anymore. I told my roommate about London. She cried harder than my own mother. My best friend brought me a little journal and wrote inside the cover, "For all the words you've swallowed, may you never do it again." That one broke me, but in a good way. The day of my flight, I didn't tell anyone except my roommate. Not my mom, not Noah, not Dad, who'd gone radio silent like I was some embarrassing problem he could just ignore out of existence. But I left a letter at their front door, folded, neat, taped to the box of all the photos I didn't want anymore. Inside I wrote, "I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done pretending. You asked me to give up something that wasn't yours. And when I refused, you treated me like a stranger. So that's what I'll be. A stranger who finally chose herself." At the airport, waiting at my gate, I saw a text pop up on my screen. "Noah, London, seriously, after everything, you're just leaving?" I stared at it, then typed, "Yes, because I can," he replied. "Hope it's worth it." And I smiled as I powered my phone down. It already is. I'd been in London for just under 4 months. I had a tiny flat with leaky radiators and paper-thin walls, but I didn't care. It was mine. The air smelled like damp books and street food, and I walked everywhere, even in the rain. Especially in the rain, it felt like rinsing the past off my skin, one downpour at a time. I was happy, not always, but mostly. And for me, mostly was a miracle. Then it came, a cream-colored envelope with my name written in my mother's handwriting, forwarded by my old roommate. No return address, no emojis, just my name. I held it for hours before opening it, because the thing is, once you open something, you can't unknow it. And I was scared. Not of her words, of what they might pull back up. Inside, 3 pages written in blue ink. No salutation, no dear, just her voice on paper. The first half, the usual. I never meant to hurt you. You misunderstood our intentions. We were trying to protect the family. Same tired script. But somewhere on the second page, it shifted. I was scared. Scared that if we didn't keep the family looking perfect, people would finally see how broken we are. How broken I am. She wrote about feeling like she was always playing catch-up. That she married a man who made her feel small unless she smiled a certain way. That when Noah messed up, she thought she was watching her entire life collapse. So I chose to hide it. And I let you carry that weight because I couldn't bear to let it crush him. Then this line, I will never forget it. You're the only one in this family who tells the truth. And it made me resent you. Not hate, not despise, resent. Because I had the audacity to be real when everyone else was in costume. She ended it like this. If you don't want to speak to me again, I'll understand. But I want you to know I see it now and I'm sorry. I am so, so sorry. She signed it. Mom, not love mom. Not with all my heart, just mom. And weirdly, it felt more honest than anything else she'd ever written. I didn't cry. I folded it neatly, put it back in the envelope, tucked it into my nightstand, not to forget it, but to remind myself she can change. Maybe someday. But I didn't write her back. Not yet. Because healing doesn't always look like forgiveness. Sometimes it looks like space. Comment below, would you have kept the secret, or dropped the truth like a bomb? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real-life stories of family betrayal, savage comebacks, and jaw-dropping moments you won't forget. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you in the next video.